Okay, we're back with Chef Otto. We just finished peeling and slicing the apples, and they're cooling off in the cooler. And now we're gonna make the crust. So, carry
When
on.
making a pastry, the general rule for pie pastry is 3, 2, 1. 3 parts flour, 2 parts lard and butter mix, whatever you use, and 1 part water. First of all, you dump the flour in all at once. This is about 600 grams of lard, flour, I'm sorry. I'm using half butter and half lard. Try to get it cold. Now, if you're making a large amount, I would chop these up to smaller pieces, but since it's a small amount, I wouldn't worry about it. You put it all at once. Now, the trick is to break them up before you put the water in and make them look like nuggets. See? What you do, you grab from the bottom. Now, a lot of people use those pie cutters. There's all kinds of things. Some people even use mixers. But I think to do it basically, if you start this way, you'll have the feel of it. Once you know what you're doing, you can use all the other apparatuses. But make sure you grab from the bottom. So you grab all the flour from the bottom. See? You see how the lard is starting to look like little nuggets? Remember, you don't want to knead your pie dough. You knead your pie dough, you will be tough bread. So the pie dough, the reason why pie dough is very flaky is because the lard goes in the pie in chunks. As it melts, it gets flaky. So now, once you got these nuggets, put the water in. The water normally is 3, like I said, 3 to 1, but depends on the humidity. Depends on the humidity. If it's humid, you probably use a little bit less. If it's dry, you probably use a little bit more. But normally, you put almost all in at once. Again, you don't need, you do with your hands. See? And see it's getting sticky? You don't need it for very long. Now, there you go. Now you make them into, all you need is, you make them into a couple balls. Remember, one for the top and one for the bottom. You make them into balls. And you rest them in the refrigerator or cold room for maybe 20-25 minutes. Remember, in flour, the gluten has to work. The gluten and the water and the lard all has to work together. Now here, again, if you want to make it for tarts or anything, you use a little bit of, you can use egg in there, sugar, and all. But in this case, I didn't because I just want to make a generic one. Okay, so I'm going to put these in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then we'll take them out and make the pie with the fresh apples that we did just a few minutes ago in the fridge. Well, it's been about half an hour, I guess, 45 minutes. See, if you notice, I don't know if you'll notice on the camera, but they're kind of a little bit sticky now because the gluten and the lard and everything else work together. So, there's 2 bowls here, and I had it covered with saran wrap. Now, get some flour, flour your table. Make sure you put a fair amount of flour, don't be shy. Should have one of these plastic spatulas. Make it even rolls. Sometimes I know a lot of people, especially at home, they use those small rolling pins, but it's pretty hard to do a really good job with a half a pin. Like a half a rolling pin. So don't be shy to use a good size rolling pin. Now when you think you can have it big enough, you get a pie plate and you put your crust in the pie, in the plate. Now that's a 9-inch pie plate. Next thing you do is make egg wash. 1 egg. Now, a lot of people use milk. The reason why I don't like to use milk is because milk burns. So when you're cooking your pie, sometimes the milk is like it burns the sugar, too much sugar, and it burns. You get your crust will burn before the bottom of the pie crust is cooked. So I like using water. So I'm just a touch of water. Now, I suggest you egg wash before you put the apples in, because sometimes if you don't egg wash it before you put the apples will go in like on top and you'll miss it. So egg wash it, and it doesn't matter if you put a little bit too much. Like no, not gonna hurt it. Nice fresh apples. Now I know we did put the spices on, but remember all the spices are in there, like they're all mixed together. But I would just put just a touch of cinnamon, just the top of it. Just to shake it, just a little bit of nutmeg. If you put too much nutmeg, it gets very strong, and some people won't. And touch of brown sugar. Now what happens here, the reason why I put this on top is because as it cooks, it goes to the bottom. The one that we had mixed in before we put in the refrigerator is kind of all mixed in anyway, like near the bottom because it's all in the liquid. So that's why I like to put some on top. So this is ready. I'm just going to make the other ball. Remember flour. You don't have to worry about putting extra flour at this stage. The time you don't want to put extra flour is when you mix it, but once it's mixed and made into a ball, it doesn't matter. The flour will not go into the crust itself. So all you're doing is prevent it from sticking to the table. Here we are. Up. Remember, you have to egg wash the rim. On top. And you crimp. Now also I'll show you something else. What you could do, a lot of people don't like crimping, maybe they don't know how, they don't have the proper system, so you could do it like a fork. It's your choice, whatever you like to do. I like crimping it. Remember, you're crimping towards the inside, you're not pulling the dough out, you're pulling inside. Cut the crust, the edge. This is why you shouldn't cut the crust before you put it on, because you really don't know how much leftover you're going to have. Now, here's your pie crust. Like again, you can crimp it any way you want. Now the other thing is you have to put holes in your pie because it's steam. When it's cooked, it's steaming. You should put your holes in your pie, perforate them, after the egg wash. Because if you do it before the egg wash, what happens is the egg wash will seal the holes and your pie will be, will steam, and you don't want it to steam. So egg wash. And we have fresh apple pie. Well, I'm going to throw this in the oven, and maybe about 40-45 minutes we'll have a fresh piece of apple pie.
Okay, the pie's ready, and Otto went to get it. Oh, here he is.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, it's about
Just
time.
out of the oven, nice, eh?
And we've invited some friends here to taste the pie and give us their opinion.
Are they gonna grade me?
Yes, they are.
I will.
Okay, normally, I forgot to tell you before I put in the oven, if you use coarse sugar, you will sprinkle the sugar before you put it in the oven. If you use fine sugar, I will sprinkle it after. Fine sugar melts too fast, so that's why when I use fine sugar, I sprinkle it after. Grab a little bit here. When it's hot, it'll melt right in there. That's fresh apple pie. Now, if this was St. Joseph Island, we'd have St. Joseph Island pies, but next time we will. Now, you can cut it. A lot of people use pie cutters. You have those formed. Or you can cut them into 4, 8, whatever you like.
All depends on how much your people like pie.
That's right.
Well, don't cut mine at all. Right now, I don't know what the pie's like, and starving to death.
You're starved then. Did you bring ice cream? Nobody say nothing. Nobody brought ice cream.
I brought my insulin.
Okay. Now remember, this pie will be a little bit runny because it's still hot. If the pie's cold, all the flour and all the starch will glue together.
Ooh, looking good.
Oh, that's nice. Wow, that looks delicious.
Thank you, sir.
I start eating.
Yeah, you have to just see that, Mike? You right in the middle there, it's nice and when you close up. Even though it's nice and hot, it's still fairly firm.
Very much like.
Bon appetito!
Merci beaucoup.
One you have to try, Mike.
Okay, guys, what do you think?
Number one.